Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am 12 Kyle. Check this out. We are back. If you've been following the podcast, you know every year I try to do a special dedication to the fathers, more particularly Black fathers. And this year is no different. We're talking Black fatherhood. I got two cats on here who are fellow podcasters that I think the world of. Two gentlemen that I consider to be friends, and I don't throw that word around lightly. If I got your phone number, you're my friend. If I text you, I rock with you. And so what we're going to talk about is Black fatherhood. I'm just going to throw some questions to these guys, and we're going to vibe and definitely appreciate you all for listening. My first guest is no stranger to the show. He's been on here a few times. He's a great father. He's a businessman. He's a hustler. And again, a podcaster. Unfortunately, the man puts sugar or thinks it's okay to put sugar on his grits. Nonetheless, I love him like a little brother. Baylor, aka BTG, Baylor the Great, Baylor for president is in the building. Baylor, what up, man?
Hey, you know how much streets I got in the beef when I be talking about spades players and niggas that don't put sugar in their grits.
Hey man, I mean I think I here's the thing. I know that you're smart and you're smarter than that. So that might be a conversation for a whole nother day. But yeah, man. Welcome back, bro. What's going on?
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, man. I'm back again. When you coming back to LA though?
Man, listen, that's a great question. The goal, honestly, was to get back this summer. So I'm gonna speak it into existence by the end of the year. Okay. Let's do that by the end of the year, and we'll definitely coordinate it, man. Because y'all know how I feel about your city. You know how I feel. I love LA
for sure. We'll be here.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. My second guest is no stranger to the show. He's been on here before. Businessman, father, hustler. You know, I think he's a great parent, but apparently this guy thinks LeBron James is the GOAT, but we won't hold that against him. Uncle Dolemite, Uncle Dolemite is back in the building. Dolly, what up?
Good evening, motherfuckers and motherfuckers. How was y'all doing?
Man, good to have you back on here, man. I see was that Brownie in the background?
Yeah, man.
Hey, Brownie.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, man. Look at her.
Oh, all right, bye.
It's all good, man. It's all good. That's what it's about, man. Fatherhood, man. So I wanted to get you guys on. Two of my brothers from LA. And we were just talking, a little bit about LA before we got on. But yeah, we want to talk about fatherhood. So let's jump right in, man. I guess the first question I have for you guys, and I'll start first with you, Baylor. Let's go back. What did it feel like for you the day that you became a father for the first time? What did that talk to us about? How you felt that particular day when that child comes into the world and you become a father for the first time?
So with my kids, I got different experiences with all of them.
Okay.
Obviously, my first two kids is with my ex-wife, and we don't get along at all. And that's just how that went. So it wasn't a dope experience at first in the beginning at all. Okay. I honestly didn't get that until I got my last child, Bailey. You know what I mean? Where I had the whole experience. So each child was just like a different experience. But I must say though, it is dope because around that time, I'm in my early 20s and stuff like that. And I'm like, I got a mini me in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I go straight to 2K mode. Like I get to create this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
out the gate. But it was special though, and I knew it was serious because I want to say the lack of fatherhood that I needed or guidance that I needed from my pops. I was like, I got to do the total opposite. Yeah, and my pops was like, as far as hoops, was an LA street legend. You know what I'm saying? And that's what bothered me the most. So he had a legacy as far as hoops that is still lingering or whatever. but it meant nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So bumping into people in the streets and stuff like that knew them, they would say this, that, and the third, but that didn't really matter to what how I grew up. So fast forward, I'm trying to build a legacy to where it is show in their future.
Gotcha.
And that was my thought process having my first kid.
Okay. What about you, Dolemite? That day that you became a dad for the first time, what was the emotion? What was that like?
I just remember the first time holding him, and I was like, I'll kill anybody behind this little nigga. Like, that was literally the first thing I thought. Like, nigga, I'll shoot a church up behind this motherfucker. Like, I didn't really know that I could, like, love a person that much. Like, that shit tripped me out. Like, like, you don't realize the capacity that your heart has until you start having kids and shit. Like,
right.
I know I love my mom. I know that I loved my wife. But, like, that shit hit different when I held my kids. Like, oh, yeah, no, this a whole different level right here. Like, that shit was a trip. But as far as, like, with me, it was always something that I felt like I did something right. Not that it turned out the way I wanted it to, because I'm not with their mother no more, but like it was like a goal of mine to have my kids with my wife. Like, I didn't want to have like baby mom, because my parents wasn't married when I came. So I was like, nigga, I want to have it to where my kids all live in the same house with both parents. But life gonna do what life gonna do.
Facts. No doubt. Man, I remember that day like it was yesterday, man. August 9th, 1999. We had our first son, Dion. And man, I just like that there's a high. Like it's a high that you really can't explain. And I'm somebody who's never been on mushrooms, never smoked weed. I mean, I drink now, but I didn't drink growing up. But like I've never had that kind of high before. And like I literally like was floating that day. And I'm in the delivery room, and I just remember, Sharice was having contractions, and I was just like, I'm looking at the monitor, and you could see the contractions coming in. And when Dion came, I was like, and I'm just looking. I just kept looking at him, and I was like everything changed. The way I saw the world, the way I saw myself. I became, because I think the thing that people don't understand is that we as men generally are selfish by nature, and we're goal oriented. We want to do certain things, and we have certain things that we want to accomplish. But all of those goals get heightened because now we have somebody that is totally unequivocally, dependent upon us to get it right. And, they don't come with handbooks. There's no manual. There's rights and wrongs that we incur as fathers. But, yeah, that day, man, I'll never forget it. I mean, like I was floating, man. I called my dad, and my dad, he always talks about how it made him feel and how he was, feeling, or how he heard me sound. And, that's a moment, and that's it got better. Well, I don't want to say got better. It was the same feeling each time when we had subsequently Cameron, and then Brandon, and then our daughter Skylar. But yeah, I'm with you guys. It was I felt those same emotions. I'm with you, Dola. I didn't think about I could kill somebody for, but yeah, I can. Definitely could shoot up a church if I had to. So when we talk about Black fatherhood, and I'll start first with you, Dolemite. And I've heard you talk some, not a lot, and it may have been in previous podcasts, but since I've been rocking with you, I've heard you mention, your father and everything. Talk a little bit about your father. What kind of father was he, or wasn't he?
He was like hands off.
Okay.
Like I knew him, and like we have a relationship, but it wasn't like my dad taught me so much, and we spent so many times, and we have so many memories. It was kind of like, I don't think he understood what fatherhood meant.
Okay.
I think his thing was more like, hey man, long as I fulfill the obligations that I have, I'm all right. The little nigga got shoes on his feet. He ate. Cool. All right. I ain't gonna spend too much time with this motherfucker. If I'm going somewhere and my homeboys got their sons, I'll take the nigga with me, but I ain't finna be around this little motherfucker too much. I got my own shit going on. You know, like my parents was young when they had me. You know, my mom was 18, my dad was 20. So
Okay.
that nigga, he was living his 20s.
Fact.
So like I have memories where, like, you know, when I was little, this was like the Crenshaw. This was like the peak of the Shaw when it was the Shaw. So he take me with the low riders and shit, and then he lead me to my own devices. Like I'm walking up and down Crenshaw, my little homeboys, nigga. We like 10. And we on the Shaw. All our daddies is hopping low riders. We in front of Harrison Ross hanging out. You know, I'm sure Baylor, you know, Harrison Ross, the Wiener Schnitzel over there. Like, he was big hanging out on the Shaw, like kicking it. But as far as like a relationship with the dude, it was shit that he taught me. But for the most part, what I learned from my dad, I learned through watching, example, not really so much hands-on. Like it wasn't like we threw footballs and all that type of shit. It was more like Pop picked me up because it's his weekend to have me. We talked for the ride from, say, Pomona to Compton, or from Rialto to Compton, or from this neighborhood to that neighborhood, because there was a time when I lived in Ma Piru on the other side of town. So he'll come pick me up, drop me off at my grandma's house, and we'll kick it for a second. But, you know, for the most part, he was like hands off. So my thing was, when I have kids, I'm going to be around their ass all the time, just like how you see. They interrupt everything I do and shit.
Hey man, they love it. This their time. They don't care about the 12 Kyle podcast. I love it.
About the Too Much Game podcast. I don't care about none of that shit.
No, they don't care about none of that. I've seen it pop in on your podcast too. So no, I get it. What about you, Baylor?
It's similar. It's the same thing. Like, because I got other brothers and sisters up in Bakersfield. So the one thing that he did do was he made sure we knew each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But the same thing, like he would take me to, he was in his 20s as well, so he would take me to like random parks where he was hooping at, and that was at the age where I'm just watching my dad play basketball, not really knowing what's going on or nothing like that. But I'm all up in Athens Park, Bethune Park, you know what I'm saying? I'm at all these parks where he just randomly take, because it's a hoop session, you feel me? And then when I grew up, I understood like, oh, now I'm hooping everywhere. Right. Just like him, but it was hands off, like Dolemite said, because he would always tell me, he was like, you right-handed, I need you to work on your left hand. You work on your left hand, you gonna be, the sky's the limit. And now as an adult, I'm like, nigga, you gotta teach me how to use my left hand, bro. Don't tell me, like, teach me how to use my left hand. But that stuck with me. And then there's just moments here and there where I needed certain things, like in the season coming up, like, Pops, I need some shoes. I need some hooping shoes. You know what I'm saying? I wanted the Scotties at the time. Scotty, one of my favorite players.
Right.
Man, he ended up getting me he bought me like some $60, $70 sneakers, dog. And it came with red shoestring. Now I go to Fremont, predominantly Bloods. But our rivals is Locke, you know what I'm saying? All Crips, right? And I remember I'm like, dog, I can't wear these shoes. I can't wear these red shoestrings. Like, what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean? Now, first of all, they not the shoes that I want.
Okay.
And you got me red shoestrings. Like, come on, man. Like, he not paying attention to the atmosphere that I'm a part of. And so it was more like that. But the one thing I will give him credit for is that he made sure that all my other siblings, we kept in touch, or we knew each other and things like that. So I needed much more than that, but you know, I got what I got.
Okay. Dolemite, I apologize for not knowing. Is your dad still? I know Baylor's dad is. Is your dad still here?
Yeah, he still live in Compton. He used to fix my Harleys and shit. Okay.
Yeah, my dad, slightly different. This guy he's always been there and still is to this day. And what's interesting was when we were younger, my brother Damon is 3 years younger than me. He would always tell us, he's like, as you guys get older, I'll go from being a father to more like a friend, like your best friend. And that's really what it's been, particularly as I've, moved on into adulthood. But my parents divorced when I was 13, going on 14. And, we still stayed close. He just moved to the other side of town in Florence, South Carolina. And, but no, he was the exemplary dad. I mean, like, he was there every day. He was there for football. He was there, any of our activities. And he was, when we were in the house together, he was always present in the house. And, there's a certain level of fear that you had, that you would have for your dad, but, ultimate respect. And then as I got older, I realized like this guy is like my fan. Like he's like my number one fan, my number one champion. He coached me in Little League football, and I mentioned on the podcast before, like for as dope as I was at football, he always told me, he's like, if you'd have played baseball, he's like, you'd have gone farther in baseball than you did, in football. And I was like, well, Dad, I played college football. I was like, I wasn't playing on no Little League, stage. And he was like, well, yeah, I think you probably would have played. And he's like, I'm not being biased. He's like, but I think you would have made it to the major leagues. And I mean, like he believed in me that much. I don't think I would have made it that far, but it's whatever. But he's just a proud dad, man. And over the years, we are still close. I mean, like we talk literally like every day. And he is this cat he's the type of dude, man. Like I could get my dad on the phone and I could be driving. And if I'm driving, even if I don't really have much to say, or I could just be listening because my dad can talk. Right. And so that's a gene that he obviously passed on to me. And yeah, sometimes I'll be in the car. Man, I've driven in the car and he was talking and I lost signal and he's still talking. And then I catch the signal over the other side wherever I'm going. And he's still talking and didn't even realize I was gone. So, but yeah, he's definitely, everything that he said was going to be with us. Definitely like a best friend. He's somebody I still, even though I'm grown, I still bounce ideas off of. I don't want to say advice because I make my own decisions, but there's not any type of major thing that I do that I don't, check with him. With him being a grandfather, he's obviously biased now. So it's like, I like kids get in trouble or something like that. I mean, yeah, I took his phone. He's like, why would you take his phone? He needs like that. Wait a minute. Now. You the grandparent now. You done raise your kids now. This is my kid. I got to tell him what to do. And, kind of remind him on those type of things. But, yeah, he's still, again, a best friend. So, and he's somebody who he'll probably hear this podcast. And what's interesting is like, it's funny because most podcasts he don't listen to. And it'll be the one, and y'all know I don't really cuss on my podcast. I don't censor anybody from cussing on my podcast. I just don't normally cuss on my podcast. And the one podcast that I get on that I start cussing, he's like, yeah, I heard that podcast. I was like, damn, I did a lot of cussing on that podcast. And it's like, I'm like, but I'm grown. I'm 50. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
I shouldn't be shamed. I'm 50 years old. I got kids, but that's my man. That's my man, 30 grand. And I don't take for granted the relationship that we have because I know it's special. And I think, and I've said it before, I think it's in part because he didn't have a great relationship with his dad. And my grandfather, and what's bugged out is my dad sent me a picture of my grandfather like 3 weeks ago. And that's the first time I've ever seen him. Like I'd never seen him. That their relationship was so bad and so toxic that, I talked to my grandfather, I want to say twice on the phone. In fact, he lived in LA. He left New Jersey, moved out to LA, chasing a skirt. And he stayed in LA for like, the better part of 30, 40 years or whatever like that. And they fell out. And yeah, he sent me a picture of my grandfather. And that's the first time I seen him. And like I said, and he passed away when I was in college in like 94. So they didn't have a great relationship, but he made a vow that, his sons, he would have a great relationship with his sons. And subsequently, that's what we have with me and him and my brother. I guess my next question is, there's always competition, right? And Baylor, I'll start with you. There's always competition. I know you mentioned hoops. Your dad, was a legendary LA basketball street baller. So a two-part question, Baylor. Did you ever beat your dad at anything? And the second part is, have your kids ever beaten you at anything?
I'll never let my kids beat me in shit. Hell no. Bailey included.
Right.
I mean, she got me in gymnastics, but everything else, hell no. I never played against my dad.
Okay.
No, I never got the chance to do that. But I definitely would have tried to go at him. I know I got a lot of his traits. His traits. Like if I ever come off as an asshole or cocky or something like that, that's all my dad traits. All of it. And I can honestly tell you that's just a part of my personality. How I treat you as a person, that's who I am. But my personality, though, I'm gonna ruffle a couple of little feathers. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I play around, and it's how I grew up too. You know what I mean? Like we had to, you had to be sharp with the tongue. You know what I'm saying? And, because the bullying is different out here.
Oh, yeah.
But nah, if I would have had the chance to play him, I would have went. Oh man, I would have went at him. I would have dogged him.
So 17. If you had to play against him in his prime and you 17, who you think winning?
He might have me at 17. I was like a $160. I was give me like 2021.
Okay.
Okay.
So prime Baylor. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What about you, Dolemite? Did you ever get a chance to beat him in anything? And are you letting Deuce and Brownie beat you in anything?
I beat him at being a father. But shit, as far as no, I don't let them beat me at a motherfucking thing. Like I don't teach my kids mercy. Like nigga, if you compete to win. Like Brownie beat me at like some board games though. I ain't gonna front. Brownie a beast with that shit. Like nigga, we played like guess who? She whooped my ass, nigga. I was not trying to let her, nigga. She just served me, nigga, just straight up. Like it just was what it was. But as far as like video game, I beat the shit out of Deuce. We have fun, we do what we do, but I wear his ass out, nigga. Like I'm not finna allow you to beat me because that's not the world. The world not gonna let you win. So nigga, you don't win until you earn that shit. So nah, like, and that wasn't how I was raised. My dad wasn't an athlete at all. So nigga, at 12, I could beat my dad at any athletic anything. Nigga, if we played basketball, he knew. He saw me. Like, we had block parties in my neighborhood. So we be out playing ball. We set up the courts and shit. He saw me. I dunked on his homeboys and shit. Like, and I look at him like, I wish you would jump your fucking ass on me. I pray to God you jump on this motherfucker so I can embarrass you in front of everybody. But as far as competition, my dad always competed with me in other shit.
Okay.
Like, oh man, by the time I was this age, I had this kind of car. Oh man, by the time I was this, I had this. And I'm always like, nigga, we'll see, nigga. Let me get about 30. I'm on your ass. Like literally, whenever me and him would have these type of conversations, because we do, I'll be like, nigga, my house bigger than yours. So now what?
He can't mess with you.
Yeah, like nigga, I got a 5-bedroom house, nigga. Like, now what? But as far as, like sports and shit, nah, we don't have no competition. I far surpassed them. My mother's side of the family is all raw athletes. Like nigga, I was dunking. My first time dunking the basketball, I was 5'6". So my dad can't fuck with me in sports.
Gotcha. Yeah, I much like y'all, man. I don't allow them to beat me at anything. The thing I'll say about my
sports debate.
What'd you say?
They whooped your ass in that fantasy draft.
Man, that was rigged,
no,
bro.
No, somebody had one of them had a good draft. I forgot who it was.
It was Cameron.
Yeah, y'all a little disrespectful when it comes to Penny. That's a whole nother conversation.
Man, and well, Cameron's a fan of Penny. I don't know why, but he's a fan of Penny Hardaway. He got
good taste.
Man, listen, this dude he's still asking for a Penny Hardaway jersey for Christmas. I'm like, nobody wears jerseys. He's like, Dad, I just want to put one up in my room. I was like, man,
injury, Penny probably would have been one of the top 10 point guards of all time.
Agreed.
So why are you saying like why Penny? Like you saying that shit is
no, I'm not saying it like that. I think because like it's odd because when you think about our kids and their ages and the athletes that they were exposed to, and then the ones they just kind of found out about later. He was one of he found out about later, and it's like it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like I'm like, well, wait a minute, how you know about Penny? Because obviously he wasn't born because Dion is the oldest. He was born in '99. Cameron's born in 2002, so he never saw Penny play. So it was just YouTube. But I mean, like,
but don't that speak to Penny's greatness?
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
How do you feel about Muhammad Ali?
For me, Ali's the greatest of all time.
Have you ever seen him box live?
Yes. I was old enough to, but now in fairness, when I saw Ali box, Ali was boxing with ABC on Saturday afternoons, and he was on the downside of his career.
So the Larry Holmes days.
Yeah, I can't remember Ali taking no L's though, but he wasn't like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Ali, I was born in 72. Ali probably finished boxing like 83, maybe 82, 83.
You seen the part of his career that I seen of George Foreman, fat George Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
He won the championship. He wasn't he wasn't breaking the fucking sandbag. George Foreman.
No, he wasn't on that lane. But even that podcast, man, that y'all mentioned, that was fun to do because I've been wanting to get them on. But we, as I mentioned on that podcast, we are extremely competitive in this house, even our daughter Skylar.
No,
and so like
because every pick, you could just hear y'all cats laughing at every pick. I was like, y'all won't let cats slide for
nothing, bro. I'm telling, and Sharice and I are competitive, so it's a really competitive. And when everybody's together, when the oldest two are home from school, man, we will sit every night. And I think I mentioned the podcast. If not, I'll mention it again. We will sit every night. We eat dinner around 7. Here, 7:30, Jeopardy comes on. Dogs. We will literally sit. Everybody's answering the question, and I said it first. I said it. No, you said it first. No, I said it first. I mean, like, it's literally we're in here competing to see who gets the most answers right. If you say something wrong, like Cameron's answer always, anytime they ask something foreign, it's always Italy because he thinks he's gonna get that right. But yeah, we're ultra competitive, man. So to answer the question, no, I'm not gonna allow them to beat me, but they're at that age where basketball, they want to play me one-on-one, not gonna happen. Because I'm old now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got the back down game, but other than that, like, you know, they running and jumping, they play ball all the time, especially the older two, they play in college. You know what I mean? They hoop with their friends in college. Beat my dad. I did beat my dad. He was 40. and if I call him right now, he'll swear up and down that this didn't happen. We had a foot race. And he was like, I think I was like 12 or 13. And he was like, I'll beat you. You know, I can beat you. You ain't faster than, because at that time I'm starting to get a little speed by myself. So I'm confident, I'm cocky. And this dude really tried to race me. So we had my stepbrother, he was about 40 yards off. And man, I got out the gate, and I'll admit he kind of closed in on me. But at the finish line, there was one champion. He swears up and down to this day it was a tie. I'm like, Dad, it's not a tie. If I beat you by 2 feet, it's not a tie. So I could call this dude right now. He'll swear up and down, and he gonna take that with him to the grave that he tied me in racing at 40. His thing was like, I'm still athletic. He had a pot belly at 40. He wasn't fast. I got him. So I think that experience just taught me, like, when your kids get to a certain age, when they can beat you at stuff, whether or not it be athletics, whether or not it be, video games, that's when you can't play them, because you don't want them to have that over your head. So yeah, I ain't trying to see that. My next question, I'll start with you, Dolemite. I have my thoughts to the answer of this question, and it's one of the reasons why I have you guys on this podcast. But I'm going to ask you, Dolemite, who are you as a dad?
Who am I as a dad? Like like I said on that episode about fucking John Morant, like I'm the homie. Like, not the homie in the sense of like what I defined as a homie, but like I'm like the big homie. Like, I'm their friend. Like, we cool, we have fun and shit. I hold them accountable, but for the most part, I'm the fun parent. Like, I let their mama be the bad guy. She fire and brimstone. But like with me, it's more, we kicking it. I give y'all niggas life lessons. I teach y'all motherfuckers. Like, I'm trying to show y'all what it is about, what this life shit is about. But as far as like whooping ass and shit, I'm not like a strict disciplinarian. I'm more of a, as long as y'all don't burn this motherfucker down or hurt each other, it's all fair game, nigga. Like, we kicking it. And this nigga playing Grand Theft Auto right now, she got braces, but she eating popcorn. Damn well. You got braces.
Ain't supposed to, yep.
That's exactly what the fuck she doing right now. She over there eating popcorn. She got all my fucking jewelry on and shit. We just be in this motherfucker having fun. Like, But for the
Yeah.
most part, I just make sure that I guide them towards the realities of life. Like, nigga, as long as you handle your business and do what you supposed to do, life is an enjoyable thing. Nigga, just don't do no stupid shit and you'll be straight. So, you know, as far as a father, nigga, I'm hands on, but I'm hands off at the same time. Brownie.
As she walks behind you with popcorn.
Yeah, like,
And the jury on though.
yeah. Like, what is you doing?
What about you, Baylor?
Very similar, man. Like I want to be, of course, you got to be the enforcer, but I want to be the cool uncle too. You know what I mean? You got to tell them, like, to me, it's all about the image, but the image got to be consistent. Like when they not watching, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to be fake in front of them, and then I'm somebody else when they not looking. So my son has actually said this, like the way he treats his girlfriend, he sees the example of how I treat his mom. You know what I mean? Right. And then like with my daughter, the whole thing is like, man, you try to teach them as much game, shout out, that you can to them before they leave the nest. You know what I mean? So when they go through these certain experiences, they can reflect on, oh no, Pops handled it like this. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's my son or it's my daughter, nah. You, the way you talking to me, you, and I get it. You don't want to do too much because when they get into their relationships, it's not going to be like how the relationship is with my wife. But at the same time, you take the good traits from that. You know what I mean? Okay. And that's what I do. I'm only the enforcer when they just getting out of pocket. Like when I see my wife and everybody know, man, when she not happy, the house not happy. Right. And when the house not happy, I'm upset.
Right.
Because I want to be happy and I get agitated. So I start, my wife, it's a running joke in the house. Like literally, everybody be laughing about this. When I get mad, I slam cabinets, all kind of shit. Be scaring the shit out of them, right? But you gotta show that level. But most of the time, I'm even keel. You know what I'm saying? Like we very competitive. Nerf gun fights. We go out, go swimming. Sometimes they come to the jacuzzi with us. Sometimes they don't. But it's like, and we talk to them, and we give them an opportunity to talk back. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Not in that way, but no, challenge me, because even though I'm your parent, I'm not gonna always be right. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I bring work home. So anytime I hear my daughter's voice and it sounds like it's whiny, I snap. You know what I'm saying? But then I have to like, calm down a little bit. It's not even her. It's not even her. But at the same time, you got to be the enforcer sometimes. But I'm with Dolemite, nigga. I let my wife be the bad guy because she do it good. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when it become overwhelming for her, then that's when I got to be Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? And then I got to start checking everybody and stuff like that. And I'm okay with being a bad guy at that point.
Okay. Who am I as a dad? That's an interesting question. I don't, and I think I know what the answer is. I try to be. I know for a fact that I'm somewhere like my parents are like they set the gold standard for me. I think whatever level of success that I have, they didn't reach it, but like I'm still chasing them as far as like I've surpassed them financially, but I'm still chasing them as what I think a parent should be. And fatherhood. I mean, like, who am I as a dad? I think I'm somewhere between like Martin Payne and Cliff Huxtable. I can be the enforcer. I can be the asshole at times. I recognize that. I also can be that sounding board. And I think the biggest thing is I try to tell all of them, like, you can always come to dad. You're not going to get in trouble. And, it'll be interesting to see. And I'm very interested to see, especially as time goes on and my friendships with the two of you grow and seeing your kids grow, because they're so much younger now. When they get to that 20, 21, 22 age, how your relationships change a little bit and how you interact with them and how they interact with you, and you might see them a little different. And, the thing I think we all have to keep in mind is in fatherhood, we're Superman. We're Superman. all day long. And then probably by the time they get to 18, 19, 20, they start, and when they start having life things happen around them, they start to understand like you just a regular dude, like you just trying to figure it out. Like my dad, they'll be like, well, yeah, my dad did the best that he could. And I think the biggest thing is understanding that. But I think that's who I am as a dad. I'm fun. I'm much like what you see or hear on this podcast. I'm fun. I like to have a good time. I like them to, my one of my key phrases is stay focused. Like stay focused, because anything can get you off track. And I know that they have the world at their fingertips, and they don't have to make it any harder than it's already gonna be. One of the things that they constantly say sometimes in this house, they be like, well, Dad, that's not fair. That's not fair. My response is life ain't fair. I was like, and I told our youngest son, Brandon, the other day, I was like, man, listen, I said, when you step outside these four walls, nobody gives a shit about you. I said, understand that. I was like, nobody, and I spit it to him real, just like that. I said, nobody gives a shit. I said, now there will be people that want to see you win. I said, but it's going to be a whole bunch of people that want to see you lose. I was like, so you can't get caught up into what people think about you. It's about what you think about you and what you mean to the people who love you. I said, outside of that, it is what it is. And so these life lessons, I try to impart upon them each day. And then it's also, like you said, Baylor, how I live too, because the thing that my dad told me and my brother Damon, he said that, the best advice he got when he became a father was, he said, you have to be three things. He said, you have to give your kids three things: love, discipline, and an example to follow. Now, the first two, relatively easy. The third one, is a little bit difficult, because you don't want to be somebody, you don't want to be this way with them one day and then this way with them the next day. Yeah. But yeah, that's that. I would say that's who I am as a dad. And it's funny because I was listening to your podcast this morning, Baylor, your most recent one, and you said something that jumped out at me. And I was going to text you. I was like, nah, I said, I'm going to save this for the podcast. You said hood niggas raising suburban babies. Yeah. So my question to you, and then the Dolemite. Well, let me start first. Dolemite, you are a member of an organization.
That's a good way to put it.
You're a member of an organization. You have let that be known. So one day, man, Deuce, 15 years old, man, he said he want to join the organization too. What you gonna say?
No chance in hell. Like, he wasn't raised like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't raise him in that environment. Like, nigga, you don't know nothing about that shit. You from the Inland Empire, nigga. You've lived in Highland. You've had your own room your whole life. Mm-hmm. The fuck you want to do that for? Like,
hey, Dolemite, please tell them the difference between the IE and LA, bro.
Like, the Inland Empire, like, don't get me wrong. There's places out here. Mm-hmm. Like, there's certain neighborhoods where it goes down. But when you in the city goes down. Right. Everything, nigga. There's no place you gonna go south of that 10, east of that 405, mm-hmm. west of that 605, or north of the water, where it don't go down at.
He just told you from light to light.
Yeah, like,
and
nigga,
some of those blocks are short.
Yeah, nigga, your neighborhood is where your street lights is at. You got your own gas station. You got your own elementary school. You got your own little, liquor store, burger stand. But anything outside of those borders, it can go fucking down depending on whether or not you get along with them niggas over there. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was okay, nigga, I'm joining because I need the protection of the area that I'm from. Like, that's just how it is. Like, is you with us or is you not? Because if you ain't with us, you on your own. So you can be the toughest motherfucker in the world and just be out there on some lone wolf shit, or you can get down. Because the thing was, where I'm from, when I went to Compton High School, it was about, nigga, where do you live at? Right. Because you gang bang. Nigga, you ain't no I don't bang. You don't bang. Fuck you mean you don't bang.
Especially where your grandma stay.
Yeah. Nigga, where your mama stay? Where your daddy stay? Where do you
They gonna figure it out.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, you kick it with that nigga? Oh, nigga, he from here, so you from there.
Yeah.
Oh, you kick it with 3 of them niggas from over there? Because that's how certain niggas became members of gangs they didn't live in. Because some of these niggas might have 6 or 7 friends from the neighborhood across the street. And you gonna end up getting your ass beat too. Because them niggas, because that happens. Oh, nigga, I'm from over here because I'm cooler with the 6 niggas from over there. But you live over here, though.
Right.
So you gonna get your ass with double time because you basically a traitor. You went and joined them. Like, I got a cousin like that. I got a cousin that's from the hood across the street who we don't fucking get along with. And there was a time he couldn't come to grandma's house. Like,
Damn.
nigga, we told our grandma, like, we gonna fuck him up. Sorry, it just is what it is.
You see how you sorry.
It is your cousin.
Yeah, and she like, that's my grandson. That's your family. Yeah, if he was family, he'd have been from here. Nigga, he didn't give a fuck about family when he got put on over there. Nigga, fuck him. He chose them niggas over us. So far as we concerned, nigga, come get down. If you want to come visit grandma, get down about it. See how bad you want to come see grandma. Or grandma can go visit you.
Go visit you, right.
That's why Baylor never got put on, so I can go to granny house.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You know, like something that I always would say, like, nigga, I have the utmost respect for niggas who grew up in that area and didn't, you know, like they was able to resist the temptation to get put on. You know, especially because like me, the way that I carry myself, the look I had on my face all the time, you know, just how I looked, it was just like, you're a gangbanger. You have braids. You sag. You're a member of this family that we all know in this area as a gangbanging family. Because that's also a thing. Like, my daddy wasn't no athlete. You know, my mom was from the set. You know, all my uncles and shit, all my older cousins was gangbanging. So it was kind of like, nigga, word traveled when I came to the high, like, hey, that's Big Mike nephew. So it's already like, nigga, we know you gangbang. I'm like, no, I don't. I went to school in Rialto. Like, when I went to Compton High, when I went to junior high in Rialto, living with my mom. I just moved back to the hood with my dad because I fucked up in junior high. So I was like, all right, let me just move back to the hood because I ain't trying to go back and do a second year of 8th grade, nigga. So I'm gonna move back to the set. Nigga, I moved back to Compton, nigga. Everybody was like, nigga, we don't give a fuck about that Rialto shit. Nigga, you such and such nephew, this nigga little cousin, you related to this nigga, and you walk to school with 17 of these niggas. All your friends is from the gang, nigga. Like, my whole generation of my age group, gangbang. Like, I didn't have no squares in my age bracket, so you couldn't be a square.
Right.
Like, you a tough motherfucker if you was able to say, nah, nigga, I didn't bang. Nigga, I was part of class of 2001 in college. Gang bang. Nigga, please.
Right. So what happens? So I totally get what you're saying. So what happens when, Deuce he wasn't around none of that, but maybe that's appealing to him, or maybe, you know, now with social media,
It's not even the same.
I don't even make it cool to that nigga though, because that's another thing. Like, you know, certain parents, and this is like shit that I've told like my cousins and shit about their kids. You can't make gangbanging seem cool. You can't be running around wearing the gear and shit like that. Like, y'all niggas know I got blue rags in my house and shit like that. Like, it's just certain shit that it just is what it is. But I've never made that shit seem like it was cool. Like, I don't bring my kids around hood days and, you know, like certain shit that we do. Like, I don't even make it seem as if that's something that they want to do. Like, I always tell them that shit is stupid as fuck. Like, jail or death. Does that seem like fun? T-shirts, funerals, that shit seem like something you want to get involved in? No, nigga, don't follow this. Nigga, this was a mistake I made. This wasn't something that I want to make seem as if it was a good thing. So, no, hell no. I can't even see a universe where he come to me with some stupid ass shit like that.
That's father. What about you, Baylor? Your son comes in, huh?
I'm gonna say this to piggyback off of Dolemite. He adapted to his environment, and like, but one thing for sure though is it's harder to be that lone wolf than to be like accepting the gang. And the reason being is because like when you not attached to anything, it's easy for niggas to attach you to something. You know what I mean? They might attach you to the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. You know what I mean? For example, I went to Fremont, but I also went to Bethune. Bethune is a middle school, Fremont is a high school, but those are two totally different areas. You know, we talking about the Swans versus East Coast, Moonlight Cats, Broadways, stuff like that. I know it might sound foreign to you, 12 Cal, but
it's very foreign to me. I'm just nodding my head.
I used to record too much game off of 82nd and Central.
Yeah.
So I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah. So me, you know, going to Fremont, I went to Fremont all 4 years. I never went to another high school. So my homies is there, you know. I got family members and friends on both sides of the flag. When you look at my government name, it says Ronald Taylor Jr. When you look at my nickname, it says Baylor. I'm not attached to any gangs, but my nickname is Baylor. And it's been like that since high school. I don't give myself nicknames. It was given to me, and I had to accept it. You know what I mean? So I had a lot of explaining to do when I got into these house parties. I had a lot of explaining to do when I'm talking to people like, well, I thought your last name was Taylor. I don't have time to break this down, bro.
Right.
I ain't got time to break this down. It is what it is. But as far as my son, he had his little run in LA before we moved out here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So he was going to school in Inglewood and stuff like that. But he not built for those public schools out there. And my daughter, she was born in the IE. She don't even know what LA is. You know, so it's like, and the game making is different. Now it's more commercial. Like they pushing it off as like a brand. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. A lot of these rappers, a lot of these actors and actresses is putting on, and they don't even know the origin story. You know what I'm saying? So I do talk to them, but they not in an environment. My son goes to Chino. He goes to the same high school the Ball brothers went to. You know what I mean? Most likely we trying to stay in the same neighborhood. My daughter gonna go to the same high school. They never went. They don't know what Compton High is. They don't know what Centennial is. They don't know what Locke. They don't know what Manual. They don't know what Fremont, Crenshaw, Dorsey. None of that. My wife went to Dorsey. I went to Fremont. So she understands it. We understand it. We all got PTSD off of that. But how we raised them in the neighborhood. Dog, I just finished tweeting out. I'm cleaning out my garage, waving at my neighbors. I didn't do that shit in LA. We ignore each other. You know what I mean? So it's different. He had his run-ins at school where they was fighting. They do a lot of ghetto shit at the school, but that's what we call it. It's just ghetto shit. Because you going to school with white folks, bro. I didn't start seeing white people like that until the college years. You know what I'm saying? Either they worked at the school or we went to their neighborhoods, like going to like South Bay Galleria and Torrance or something like that. Like, but in the hood, I grew up around blacks and essays. You know what I'm saying? So I had to adapt to my environment. I seen enough to say, nah, I can't. I can't do this. Technically, when I was younger, I got put on, but they didn't have my consent. I stayed in different hoods all the time, man. I stayed off of Grape Street. We had to verbally fight my mom not to move us to Cedar Block.
Dang.
Dolemite. See? Yeah. I was like, nah.
The funny thing about Cedar is like literally, like game makes them seem as if like they the big scary nigga. You gonna get fucked up if you from Cedar Block. Cedar Block is like 6 niggas, and they surrounded by Crips. They basically inside a Palmer Block, which is a Crip neighborhood. They up the street from us. Like anything you want to do if you from Cedar Block, you pretty much better not tell nobody you from there. Damn. Because they don't have a gap. They don't have a school. They don't have anything.
And I stayed in a neighborhood the total opposite of that, because I stayed off of 80th and San Pedro. Those are in that area is mostly Swans, but on my block it was Main Streets. You know what I mean? So it was like, I don't know how it happened. I don't know how this is broken down. I don't know how they not beefing like that or anything. But Main Streets was getting their money though. They was getting their money. But I grew up around Swans. I grew up around East Coast. I grew up around Broadway. I grew up around different gangs or whatever. My kids didn't though. So they don't know that. If they see it on TV, they see it on TV, but they didn't grow up in that type of environment. So I ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah, I
and like
think both of you.
nowadays,
Go ahead, Dolan.
most of the kids now that push the quote unquote gang shit, it's something that they heard in a rap song, or it's something that they see an
Facts.
artist doing. And like I explained to people, my kids when they get old enough to understand, a lot of these artists ain't like that. The game ain't like that. Like as much as he pushed that YG, he's not like that. Like us in LA who know a lot of the artists that push that shit out this motherfucker, they're not like that. Those niggas is just as gang affiliated as Kendrick Lamar is.
Yep.
Kendrick Lamar is just the one nigga who's brave enough to, like I said, resist the temptation to pretend he gangbang.
Yep.
Like Kendrick didn't bang, and he tells you in his music, nigga, I kicked it with them niggas. I might even did some dirt with them niggas, but that ain't my life.
Yep.
Game and YG, same shit. Game was an athlete, YG was a dancer.
Yep.
But you know, as you progress in the rap game, it's like, man, if you was a blood, you'd be leveling up. If you push the set, you'd level up. So a lot of rappers out of LA, they really busters. They're poets, my nigga. They're art geeks. Nigga, them niggas took music classes. But because of the temptation of the area, it's like a lot of motherfuckers just jump in. Because like with me, nigga, I've always said, I was made a gangbanger. I wasn't born to be one. Like, that's not the type of nigga that I got homeboys who, nigga, we grew up. You knew them niggas was gonna bang the set from kindergarten. Like, this nigga's a fucking knucklehead. Nigga, I was on the honor roll. I didn't plan on this shit, nigga. This was some shit that I was like, well, it's either get down or get fucked up. Nigga, I live with the nutty blocks. We don't fucking get along with nobody. Occasion don't like us. Spooktown don't like us. Farm Dog don't like us. Track New don't like us. It's a lot of motherfuckers don't fuck with us. So if I get put in a classroom with a bunch of these motherfuckers, it's like, nigga, yeah, nigga, it's like, nigga, if I'm gonna have to squabble any goddamn way, nigga, I might as well get some of the glory of pushing the hood. So fuck it, nigga. I'm from Nutty now.
So, okay, you want us to worry about homework? I'm trying to get home.
You know, and that's the thing. And I think you and I talked about that before, man. I think those stories, even listening to you guys tell that, it's amazing to those of us who didn't have to come up in that type of environment, that the two of you came through that, saw your way through that, and went on to be who you became. And now, you know, the roles are reversed as far as like you raising kids. You know, I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have any hard rock, you know, Florence, South Carolina stories.
Well, that's not unfortunate. That's fortunate.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, because one thing you said earlier that stood out, you was like, yeah. So when we all sit at the table at 7 o'clock and eat dinner, I was probably eating cereal by myself.
Yeah, yeah, and then, you know, and that's something that we, that's something that, you know, we decided to do as parents. You know, to make sure that we have at least one meal, everybody sit down and eat together. Yeah. You know, but just to kind of answer the question, I y'all know I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't do anything crazy other than firing a gun in the house.
You went to Freaknik though. You went to Freaknik.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I was in college then. I wasn't no little kid then.
So if your son is like, hey, daddy, they bringing back Freaknik, I'm going. I need some ticket money. Well, y'all live in Atlanta. No, y'all don't get no ticket money. All he needs is a ride. Shit.
Yeah, and you know, to be honest, though, you don't need that.
Some gas money to get up the block.
All you gotta do is get on MARTA. MARTA will take you.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
No shit.
It'll take you wherever you want to go. I would have a conversation. I wouldn't say no. Like, I don't project, and it's funny because Sharice and I had this conversation. Like, I never in high school, I never smoked, never drank. I didn't have my first drink until I was 26. But I know that at some point, you know, somebody's gonna put a cup in their hand and be like, well, I know Dion Hill. I mean, he's 22 now, 23 now. He drinks every now and then. It's not something that he does on a regular. In fact, he's had a couple of drinks with us. But like, I never say you can't do that. Even when we talk about sex, I'm like, you should wait. But I know in reality, I mean, it's probably not going to happen. You know, it ain't going to, like, it's going to happen whenever it happens. And there's nothing I can do about it. You know, and you know when your kids getting it in. So it's always interesting when they grow up, you know, because you find yourself telling yourself, okay, well, you know, when I get to be grown, I'm not going to do my kids like, yes, you will. You know, yes, you will. And so, I don't really hit them with the don't do as I say as do as I do. But I also explain to them, well, yeah, I did do that. But the difference is that I grew up in Florence. Y'all growing up in Atlanta. And, you know, the thing that I tell them all the time is like the Atlanta that y'all see on TV, the Atlanta that y'all hear in rap songs, that ain't the real Atlanta. That's Black Hollywood. That's, you know, that's what they've made it up to be, you know. And we had like me and my sons had long conversations when, what's the guy that got the rapper that got thrown in jail?
Rollo?
No, the big one.
Oh,
Young Thug.
YSL.
Young Thug.
Young Thug.
I keep saying fucking Slim Thug, Young Thug.
So, I mean, man, we had long conversations about that. And I'm like, look, I was like, they was like, oh yeah, free Young Thug. I was like, he ain't getting out.
Y'all don't know what that nigga did.
I said, yeah, exactly. I said, I don't know what you did. I said, you don't know what they did. I said, in the feds, when they come knocking, you know, I heard Ice-T say this the other day, like everybody want to be, you know, a gangster until, you know, the feds come, and then now you backpedaling trying to tell everybody that you're not a gangster. You know, so
sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
like when I hear those statements like free such and such, I got homeboys I grew up with, and I don't say free them. It's some niggas need to be in that motherfucker. Like I got homeboys, like literally, like don't free that nigga. Leave that nigga. He's exactly where he needs to be, my nigga. Like, nah, keep him. Hold him there. That's my nigga. I love that nigga.
Love him.
Keep that nigga. He's a threat to society. He belongs there.
Mm-hmm.
They never been in those rooms though, 12 Cal, where everybody want to be a gangster till a real gangster walk into a room.
Oh, facts.
And that's why I never became one, because I've been in some rooms where it was some real killers, and I'm not no killer.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I ain't either. I'm as square as a rectangle, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah,
and you know, the thing I tell them, like, you know, just I try to impart my wisdom, but I mean, like, I'm not gonna, if they say, well, hey, did you smoke weed when you was in high school? I'm like, no, I didn't. But I mean, like, I also know that, you know, I can tell them the pros and the cons of it or whatever like that. But I love both of your answers because you both have lived a certain way and you're not hiding that from your kids, but you also impart to them, like, look, I did this. Maybe I did this because of the circumstances that I was in, and I did everything in my power to get myself and my family out of those circumstances to where that's not even an option for you. And now if you run to it, like Dolemite said earlier, it's dumb. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you know nothing about that life. We worked hard to put you out here to where you don't even, you know, it shouldn't even be a second thought. Last question I got for you guys. And I'll start first with you, Baylor, because here's the thing, folks, that is listening. I'm 50. Dolemite and Baylor are both 40, right? So there's a 10-year difference. But one of the first things, and I think I've told you guys before, but I'll tell you again. One of the things that stuck to me the first time I heard Baylor, the first time I heard Dolemite on the microphone, one of the first things that came to me was, I mean, outside of your accents, one of the first things that stuck to me was like, I said, they had to have grown up around older people, because in the South, we have this thing called old soul.
Old soul.
So like, we'd be like, man, oh, he got an old soul, you know. And the first time I heard Bill, I was like, yeah, he has an old soul. And you were talking about, I think you mentioned something about some music that you listened to. And then I think the first episode I heard of Dolemite, I can't remember what episode it was. Dolemite was talking about the music in the 70s or something like that. I was like, okay, he an old soul. So, Bill, I'll start with you. Who were, outside of your father, who were the older, because they had to have been older men or an older man in your life that kind of gave you the game. Shout out to Dolemite. That gave you the game or gave you the wherewithal to kind of push forward as a man?
That was my step pops.
Okay.
That was my step pops. That's where I learned my manners, because his parents is from Texas. You know, my grandparents are from Texas as well, but also, you know, my uncles and aunties and certain family members that I never met. You know, they come from the Chicagos, the Memphis, Louisiana, and stuff like that. So we got a Southern background. Hell, it's called Southern California. You know what I mean? But that's where it come from. And who didn't grow up where on Saturday mornings when you had to clean up the house and you had some of them 70s jams on? You feel me? And so that, and then if you ever rode in the back of a car and the back seat was probably as long as your goddamn bed, you could lay down in that mug. The seat belts was just the one that was just across your lap. You know what I'm saying? A tape deck. Yeah, niggas don't know what a tape deck is. That's where it came from. So I grew up listening to Stevie Wonder and obviously MJ and Prince. You know,
of course.
But you know, we grew up listening to all those oldies and stuff like that. But I was also taught by my step pop side of the family, his mom and his father, yo, get your elbows off the table. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yes.
When you come in the house, take that hat off and speak. Especially when you make eye contact with somebody.
Facts.
You speak. Now I have that, like, I'm 50-50 with it, because I'll be walking up and down the street anywhere, and I, on purpose, sometimes I look directly at you so I can say hello. A lot of people don't have that same type of upbringing, so they'll ignore me, and I'll take it personal. But now I was like, I don't know, I'll just judge you off of me seeing you for the first time. Sometimes I look down, sometimes I might look at you. You know what I mean? Sometimes it catch me off guard if somebody speak to me first. You know what I'm saying? Because LA is just different like that. But that's how I was raised. My step pops. When I didn't get those Scotties from my dad, he took me to the Beverly Center.
Okay.
At that time, the Beverly Center was like that. The Beverly Center not in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That's over there with the white folks. It's going down over there now. But
of course.
Back in the day, it's like I wasn't over on that side of town a lot, maybe at all. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I got my first pair of shoes. You know, when I first pair of shoes connected to an NBA player, I did have a Patrick Ewings. But that's a whole other I had those in middle school.
But you talking about the AIR Scotties?
The one with the red stripe at the bottom.
Okay, yeah, you talking about the Pippin Tools?
Yeah, the Pippin Tools. There you go, the Pippin Tools.
Because the AIRs, them bitches was expensive.
Those like 110, 120, something like that.
Bitches was like 180.
Yeah.
Them motherfuckers came out because that was the first shoe that had the air bubble go.
Air bubble, exactly.
Them motherfuckers was 180. I remember that shit like it was yesterday, because I told niggas when the Concords dropped, them AIR Pippins was way harder than the Concords when the Concords came.
Hey, yo, Dolemite to tell you, dog, besides MJ held it down in the 90s, but don't sleep on them Barclays. Niggas was dying over them Barclays.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, them Jason kids.
No, that was cold. Those were cold.
And they still looking for those Jason kids to this day.
Yeah, I got both the original pairs in my closet right now.
I got a pair of here too.
And the black pair with the checkerboard on the motherfucker.
Okay.
Yeah. And it wasn't no resale prices back then. You know what I'm saying?
You can try on shoes back in those days.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
You literally go in the store and be like, can I get a size 10? Oh, these don't fit. You got a 10 and a half? Like nowadays, you got a raffle and lottery and all that shit.
It's out of control.
Yeah, when we was younger, nigga, even the hottest shit, like you might have to ditch school to go get them, but you could get them motherfuckers.
And we did though, because when the cool grade 11s came out,
oh my god,
70% of the school wasn't in class, and they all came. I remember because it was a rainy day, and you know those are patent leather, so you saw niggas with grocery bags around they around their J's. Really,
that was like the first retro Jordan.
Yeah.
Because remember, Jordans was just Jordans. Like, nigga, we didn't call them the fucking 11s. We just called them the Jordans.
J's.
Concourse, they were just the black and white ones. Yep. Like, oh, yeah, nigga, you know the J's just dropped. Yeah, they black and white. The motherfuckers hard as fuck.
Yeah.
And then when the all white ones came, hey nigga, they just dropped some all white ones. Then when the playoffs came, hey nigga, the black and red
Black ones, yeah.
It wasn't red. It was the black.
It was heavy. It was heavy competition with the shoes. MJ wasn't running the game by himself like that. You had the King.
Oh no. You had, but everybody stepped in. Bo Jackson.
The motherfucking Chris Webbers. I had the Grant Hills because my dad wasn't to spend no money like that.
And the Jerry Stackhouses.
Yeah, they was feelers.
Yeah,
so I was team Feeler because my dad wasn't gonna give me nothing over $100. So 89.
Oh man, that's messed up.
Hills, the Grant Hill 2s and the Grant Hill 3s.
Hey, your pops, he owe you right now.
$9.99. Everybody had Jordans. Them niggas had the Griffies. Them niggas had the Barry Sanders because niggas sleep on the berries.
Yeah.
Barry Sanders was hard than the motherfucker. Deion Sanders had some shit out.
Oh, God.
Like,
man, listen.
It was all type of shit out there. Like, I was always getting the cheap shit. Like, when niggas was, when I was in the 9th grade, nigga, I had Aaron Brooks from the Green Bay Packers.
Wow.
Look them motherfuckers up, nigga. Aaron Brooks, he was like a wide receiver for the Packers. That nigga had his own shoe. I had them motherfuckers.
Wow. I don't even remember them.
Deposits,
was
$200 shoe.
Man, we was wearing Dadas, and ones,
Sauconys or Sauconys as we
call them.
Yeah,
I call them Sauconys.
Yeah, we call them Sauconys out here.
Yeah.
But literally, nigga, the box said Sauconys.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
We said Sauconys.
Still call them Sauconys.
That's
what
we
called them.
And be careful with shoestrings you put up in there, brother. Your shoestrings used to talk for you.
Killed behind them motherfuckers.
Yeah, you know how many blue and red shoestrings I took out of the original pair?
Put them white shoelaces.
So white with
smart move. White shoelaces, nigga, because they'll fuck you up.
Yeah,
you know, and that was like the thing, like everything, like even like I tell niggas, I don't give a fuck what your favorite sports team is, nigga. Take that hat off.
Oh yeah, across the board, maybe some high schools may have gotten away with it. Fremont never went to the uniform. I know Locke eventually did, but they had more shootings at their school than we did. But I know across the board, especially in the Coliseum League, we could. For my whole high school career, I could not wear a baseball hat. They would not allow. They would not allow us to wear. And the Raider jerseys, you had to flip them inside out.
Damn.
We had a Mexican gang out here called Florencia 13 F13.
Okay. I was about to say,
and they wear a lot of Raider jerseys. Do you remember Philip Buchanan?
Yeah.
He was 31.
Yeah.
So they used to flip it inside out
to make it 13.
Yeah.
And that's the fucking thing, dog. Like. A lot of niggas be thinking it's about colors. Them colors went out before me and this nigga hit high school. You can wear whatever color you want to, nigga. Just watch that sports team.
Yeah,
that sports team let you know what set you from.
Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees.
Yeah, I remember. Hey, Baylor, remember when I came out to LA? I hit you up and I was like, and I said, can I wear my Yankee? You're like, nah, don't wear that Yankee hat.
Don't wear that.
Fuck no.
Don't wear that Yankee hat.
Yeah,
don't wear that Cincinnati Reds hat.
Oh, no, that's my only baseball team. So I mean, those are my guys. So I left the Yankees. The Yankee fitted at the crib.
Yeah,
that's all I needed to know.
Along, because even LA,
yeah,
like it's parts of like Compton. You can't even wear an LA hat.
Yeah, and that's the classic. That's the hat that
that's
represents
like neutral hat. Yeah, that's like you in Los Angeles, you can wear the LA hat probably anywhere in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. But in Compton, it's a set that wears that, and we like, nah, fuck them. What's that you from?
Yeah. When Murph came out here, we went to a spot called the Court, right? They got a couple of them, and he had on a hat. I said, yeah, you're gonna take that off. We're gonna put that back in the car. We're gonna put that back in the car just in case. I know we old, but right. Nah.
Yeah, you don't want no problems.
Go put that back in the car.
It's niggas in our age bracket that's still active. Yeah. And that's the reason that you can still get into some bullshit. Cause nigga, you can have a head full of gray hairs. Niggas 50 years old out here that still press their line.
So Dolemite, so what about you? Was there somebody older? That kind of molded you, gave you game, if you will. Was there older brother, older cousins?
My stepdad. He was always in and out of prison. Like he would always tell me, like, nigga, this shit ain't cool as they make that shit look on TV, nigga. Like these rappers make prison sound cool. They got songs about prison. Like prison ain't cool, nigga. You don't want to do this shit. And then like even like my OGs and like my older homies from my neighborhood. And it would be funny because when they would get out, they would be telling me stories about my stepdad. Like, oh yeah, nigga, I was locked up with Red. Yeah, that nigga told me whoop de whoop and such and such. And then like even like when I got older, he'll get out and he'll be telling me, them niggas told me what the fuck you be out there doing, nigga. I told your ass, leave that gang banging shit alone, nigga. You don't know we be in here talking. You know, and like that's the thing. Like I was raised around a lot of motherfuckers older than me. Like even in my gang banging career, a lot of the motherfuckers who I kicked it with was gray hair old niggas. Like I didn't run with my generation. Like my generation was the BGs and the OTGs, which like in gang banging, depending on the years you was born, you get assigned a level. So like, you know, like now I'm 40. So little young niggas be like, oh, that's my OG Uncle Dolemite. OG? Like the OGs is like my mom and them. Like them is the OGs. The niggas I was born in the early 60s and late 50s. That's a OG. Nigga, even if you was born in say like 67 to like 70. Nigga, far as I'm concerned, nigga, you a OBG. You ain't even a OG to me. If you was born in the 70s, because nigga, y'all niggas was little niggas to the OGs. So like with me, like it's always a nigga. I was always around 60s babies. Like I was with niggas who's raised with my mom. Like a lot of the stories that I heard of gang banging when I was out hanging out, it was niggas telling me shit my mom was doing. Oh nigga, you know your mama beat up this. Oh yeah, your uncle, nigga, your uncle was a terror, nigga. So like I just was around older niggas my whole life. So when I'm around niggas my age, I always stand out as like the leader because I'm like the old nigga amongst niggas my age.
And
that's the thing.
Remember I told you that I was like, you the older brother that I needed because you give me that. All right, my older brother went to this high school. Now I go to this high school. My older brother went to Linwood. I went to Fremont. You know what I'm saying? That's two totally different areas. You know what I mean? And we didn't stay in the same household that long. You know what I mean? So his younger years, he was with his dad. You know, I was just with my mom. He didn't come move with us until like I want to say towards the end of my middle school years, and then all through high school. But besides my step pops, dog, it was people on TV. It was Carl Winslow. You know what I'm saying? It was Uncle Phil. It was
no doubt.
No, seriously, it was Bill.
No, I believe you.
It was cats like that. You know what I'm saying? Billy D. Williams. These are cats that I looked at. So if you see any type of those traits, that's where I got it from. TV.
Yeah, man.
That's my problem.
Good.
I didn't have TV. All I had was like, and like I would say this a lot when I first started the Too Much Game podcast, like when it came to like how I dress, how I talk, like jewelry and all that shit. Like I feel like when I was younger, I always follow what was cool. So in order for me to be able to reach younger motherfuckers, like I think I kind of want to give that. Like nigga, you could be a square and you can have all the jewelry that the gangbangers had. Cause when I was little, all the niggas who I knew who had lowriders and shit, so dope. So that's what I wanted to be like. All the motherfuckers who had all the bitches and all the free time and was having all the fun was the criminals. So that's who I wanted to be like. So even though like it was like, I know that's stupid. I know my parents tell me that's not the way to go. Look at the results these niggas is getting. Like nigga, you go to work, you tired, your hands hurt, you're sweating, you got a fucked up attitude. And then I look at this nigga hopping the low rider and it's like, what do you do for a living? I gang bang and sell dope. You know what? I think I want to do that shit when I grow up. Cause look at what he got. Nigga, you over here telling me this the way to go and you're never happy. This nigga over here got a big smile on his face and he's I'm gonna go do that shit. You know, so like a lot of my example was the niggas who I seen that had the shit that I wanted out of life, and those was OG gang members.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because like I had my experience was probably my biggest influence, my cousin Mike. Mike is like 5, almost 6 years older than me. And he was definitely the example and still is, really, to be honest. And Mike went to South Carolina State, and then subsequently me and his younger brother Eric, we went to South Carolina State. And so he's always been the example. But much like you guys, I grew up around older people, obviously. But then, you coming up in the 80s, you at the house parties, the card parties or whatever. You hear a lot of talk, and you hear grown people talking. At that time, we were told a child is to be seen and not heard. So, which is another Southern saying. And so you pick up on so much stuff just listening to older people. And then obviously I had, uncles who my uncles, man, are funny. And they always had something they always had said something for us. My Uncle Sonny, who passed away years ago, he said, I walked in a room. I was in middle school. I never forget. He lived in Chicago, and he came to Florence one summer, whatever like that. And I walked in the room, and I had on some Adidas, and they were untied. And he was like, "Nephew, tie your shoes." And I was like, "Uncle Sonny, this is the style right here. This is how you're supposed to look." And he said, "Son, I'm gonna tell you this one time. When you step in a room, we step in the room." And I didn't know what he meant, but what he meant was like, you represent me. When you go somewhere, somebody gonna say that's Sonny's nephew right there. And given the fact that my uncle played professional football for the Giants, our name, the name Carson carried in not just my city, but in the state of South Carolina. It carried when I went to South Carolina State, because that's where my uncle played football at South Carolina State. So when your uncle is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, like that comes with, so you have to kind of carry yourself a certain way, and you have to understand. And so that always kind of rang in my head. Like when I step in a room, I'm stepping in the room with my name, but also the name of in our race. And so like, that was the thing, like older people always gave me, game, if you will. And I definitely appreciated it. It's funny because like a lot of stuff there, and I'm sure you guys say the same thing. Now you probably hear your elders or the OGs or whomever, you hear them now more so than ever, even if they're no longer here, because they imparted words of wisdom to you, and now it's kind of coming back to you. Man, I'm honest. I'll be honest. We could do this for days. We could do this the whole day. Before we get out of here, man, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Bill, I'll start with you, man. Tell folks where they can find you, where they can catch the podcast, and then Dolemite, you tell them where they can catch you and the podcast.
BTG for President, Open Run with BTG, part of the Rare Science Network, Black Horror Humor, Lunch Break Productions, The Breaks Radio. You can find me on Twitter at Baylorism, TikTok at Baylorism, and that's it. I want to say to y'all though, y'all know when y'all got a classic podcast, when I can remember certain things that y'all do before and during the episode. So when 12 Cal, he about to be on some shit when he be like, "I'm 12 Cal. This is 12 Cal podcast. Check this out." And the nigga start giggling. He about to be on something. With Dolemite, I didn't know until 12 Cal that actually told me. I'm listening to the episode, first time listening to Dolemite. I'm like, who the fuck this nigga talking to? There ain't nobody else. And then I didn't know you went live while you was doing your shows. And he'd be like, "What you say?" And then he'll say such and such name. But I thought that was a dope thing, because it's like, I know other people that go live and record their episodes and stuff like that, but they don't do it like that. He'll break down his bars, and he'd be like, "What you say, 12 Cal?" And then he'll say it, and that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes. Man, listen. I told him this before when we recorded. I admire that shit, man, because there's no way, as much as I love the three of us, I'll be honest with y'all, we love podcasting. We love doing this shit. There's no way that I could do that shit live. And
I didn't realize it was live until 12 Cal told me. But I'm already like 4 or 5 episodes in, and I'm like, man, who is this nigga talking to, man? Because I don't hear. He's
talking to the people, man.
He's like, what you say, shit, and he'll shout out the podcast. He'll break down the whole thing.
Oh yeah, and then when people come into the live, he shouts them out, man. And it's and I told him, I was like, it creates a dilemma for me, because I want to watch it live, but then when he does it on Sundays, Mondays are usually like just a drag when you're at work, and no matter what time I listen to that episode on Monday, that should get me through Monday. So I'm like, nah, do I really want to watch it? And sometimes I want to watch it, but then I'm like, nah, I need to I need to listen to it so it can get me through Monday. But yeah,
that
man.
That nigga said, then there was bass.
Then there was bass. You see the shirt? Then there was bass.
Hey,
I got to get me a shirt. And then there was bass.
That's an extremely important part of music. Is that
which,
bass.
by the way,
especially out here.
Before I moved to Dolemite, both of you do a really good job. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. Baylor's got on merch, his own merch. Dolemite's got on his own merch. So when y'all check them out, check out their merch too. I'm a little mad at Baylor because Baylor had on this dude FaceTimed me the other day because the homie Manny Brown was in LA. So he FaceTimed me, him and Manny. And I look and he's got on this sweatshirt and it's the LA logo. And I'm like, man, what's that you got on? And then it says Baylorism up under. I'm like, the shit was cold. And I'm like, man, this dude, he's only making merch for himself. He's not giving it to nobody. He's keeping it dope shit.
One off though, like nigga.
Yeah, you gotta have that one off.
It's me right here, nigga.
Dolemite. You know, I would have been cool had I not seen it, but we were halfway through the FaceTime, and I'm like, hey man, what the fuck that is? He got that shit cold. Because I wasn't paying attention at first. Yeah, but Baylor, he keeps some stuff, man. Dolly, tell people where they can find you, man.
Instagram and Twitter, Uncle Dolemite. Instagram, Too Much Game Podcast. Twitter, Too Much Game Pod. YouTube, Too Much Game Podcast. TOO Much Game, not the number 2, because niggas be trying to be fancy with stupid shit. Hit the bell notification because I'm finna start recording my shows live on YouTube. Like I'm not finna be doing the pre-recorded uploads. I'm gonna be live on YouTube, so you can comment and do all that shit while I'm doing YouTube, because on some real shit, it's really a lazy thing, because when you live on YouTube, you don't have to upload it. Nigga, it's there already. So
yeah.
That shit cuts 2-3 hours out of my workflow. So now I'm finna be live on YouTube. That's why I got this fancy fucking webcam. That's why my shit look all clear. Because I went and got me a little Logitech webcam.
Okay. Yeah, man. Check them out. Baylor's Open Run with BTG. That's on Wednesdays. And then Baylorism, Baylor for President, that is on Thursdays. Uncle Dolemite, yours usually drop on Sundays. I normally listen on Mondays. The 12 Kyle podcast drops every Thursday at midnight. From time to time, I drop bonus episodes. I might as well stop saying it. I've been dropping bonus episodes this year.
I didn't even know you had times, because sometimes I was like, oh, that nigga's fucking 12 Kyle just drop some shit. All right, fuck it. Cool.
You know what, man? This year I've had a lot of free time and I've had a lot of creativity time, and just like I just get in a zone. Like I was the other day, I didn't have anything to do. Everybody was asleep, so I just knocked out 3. My thing is, if I have something to say and something to talk about, I do it, and I'm not looking for numbers or anything like that. I genuinely have, it's almost like an artist where, and I'm sure you guys feel like this too. You say what you got to say until you're done saying it. And then once you're done, you're done.
You drop like currency.
Well, you know what, man? It's consistency. I think the thing is, if you give it to people, they're going to keep coming. Like when I found, when I got to your episodes, it becomes a routine for me. So if Wednesday comes and there's no, open run with BTG, I'm gonna text you like, yo, man, where the episode at? Same for Dolemite. I'm like,
and one day I had to press you because one Sunday I didn't get it and I made a store run. I said, bro, I'm not going to the store if I ain't got no episode to listen to.
Yeah, so I've been dropping them on Sundays, and like I said, I remember I think it was even before I got Dolemite's phone number. I hit up King Germ. And I don't know if Dolemite went out of town or something. Something happened and there was no episode on Monday. And I was like, yo, Dolemite ain't dropped no shit this week. He's like, yeah, I'll reach out to him or whatever like that. But yeah, man, this has been fun, man. I enjoy all of my episodes. I really enjoy the ones where, we talk about fatherhood. We talked about a little bit of everything, but this has really been one for the ages, man. So make sure that you guys download, subscribe, support, and buy a shirt, buy a mug, buy anything.
Podcast.store. I forgot to say that.
There you go.
Watch this 12, Cal. Look at Dolemite when I raise this up. What? Look at these.
Oh, them khakis. Motherfucking khakis. That's you go. A classic right there. Hey, and you got to get on good pods, 12, Cal.
I think I am. I got an
No, your
email saying,
show is on there.
okay,
Your show is on there. You're not on there because I just went to Baylor's page and Baylor is under the creator and his profile is on there.
okay,
So is me. So is King Germ.
okay,
I just follow Baylor on Good Pods and shit. So you got to get on Good Pods. That shit.
okay. All right. So
Because
that's
I
gonna
was
be
already
the
subscribed on Spotify, but you know, Good Pods is like the wave now and shit.
Dang,
Shane,
shout
okay.
out. Shan put me up on that one.
yeah, she put me up
Yeah,
on that
shout
shit.
out to Shan too. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely do that. I'll do that when we finish recording. That's gonna do it for us. So for my man Baylor, for my man Uncle Dolemite, I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.